Hey guys, welcome to the Vault. We have some really exciting content for you today. We have Casey from Clink Room here to talk about hats and the state of the company and what's going on, and give us an update on all the happenings. So Pierre, take it away.
Thanks, Leon. I think, the first thing I want to do is just talk about the power of Clink Room and what it's kind of provided the community as a whole, which is this fantastic outlet to kind of see all of this creative stuff come to life. I've never seen one brand in the hat arena create this much collaboration, this many great relationships, this much dialogue around creativity. So, I absolutely, how I feel. I feel like every Clink hat is a piece of art, and the depth to which Clink Room kind of inspects the details from the embroidery down to the final details of that product is just amazing to me. And I want to start with this opportunity we had to kind of collaborate, right? So this is one of those examples of that collaboration that I thought was fantastic, and it was Clinkvision. And I think, our relationship as far as Clink Room 2.0, it goes back to almost the beginning, right? As soon as Leon and I saw Clink Room 2.0, we started to salivate. And we're like, fuck, man, here it comes. We were excited. And then I remember back, Leon and I were looking through the first batch of Clink Room hats, and we're like, oh my God, I got to get all of these, right? Mm-hmm. What we didn't realize was there was going to be all of these every week. And then it was like, oh my God, this is like for real. This isn't like, we're not dabbling here. We're jumping in head first, and we're creating magic, and it was amazing to see. And then Leon and I, because this was prior to Jason being involved with Views in the Vault at that point, I believe. And obviously we upgraded and we added Jason a little bit later on. Mm-hmm. But we certainly were enjoying it, and we got some opportunities to start to kind of work through things with you. And then it really started to blossom when Clinkvision came around. That was kind of the culmination of that collaboration. And we were able to kind of, for those that don't know what Clinkvision is out there that are watching, we do have the video still up on the YouTube channel. It was a fantastic way to see, like, from start to finish, what the creative process at the Clink Room looks like. Mm-hmm. We had an opportunity to see how artists kind of ideate. We got a chance to see how Casey kind of provides constructive and positive feedback to those artists to help kind of facilitate, the best final product possible. And it was a fantastic experience. And we actually have the hats to show off. So I thought we could start there, right? Because I know we want to give Casey an opportunity to share some of the stuff that's going on with Clink Room and the future of Clink Room. But I thought we could start there, if that's okay. Mm-hmm. If you're okay with that, Casey, we could start there.
I would love to start there. I want to thank you guys for having me back. It's been too long. We really took the summer to sort of regroup, still grinding away as always. Like, I think that the talent and the designs that are still coming out of the Clink every week are just like, I'm still so inspired and excited, and can't wait to see what they end up looking like in embroidery. But we're coming out of the summer. We're ready for the fall, and we're excited for the future more than ever. And and I can't wait to go through these Clinkvision hats. It came out so cool. Unfortunately, one of them's missing, but that's just part of the game. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a banger when it actually gets here.
Oh, man. They're all fantastic, but that one may be just the cherry on top, right?
Yeah, that's definitely, I think that was the biggest seller of them all. New Era Legal had some thoughts, let's just say, on some of the imagery. We ironed it out and got to a good place with it, and we can't wait to see it.
Why don't we start here, Casey?
Yes, it's on the front of my list too.
You don't give a fox if we start here, right?
I don't give a fox where we start.
But this thing.
Yeah. So this is awesome. I mean, this is probably the most complicated, I would say, of all the designs, right? And I think anytime a logo is complicated, it calls into question whether it's going to translate into embroidery. Mm-hmm. And of course, New Era killed it, and before New Era killed it, Jason Villani killed it. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Jason Villani has worked for Brandiose our design firm that does a lot of sports branding for pro sports teams, if people want. He's worked for Brandiose for years. And I remember when like my business partner first said like, oh, I found this guy and he's like unbelievable. And I was like, no, he's a clinker. Like he was an OG clinker. I think his first design he ever did was called Mud Bugs. And
yeah.
Yeah, that was Jason Milani's first thing. And when we were growing our teams, Jason, my business partner, who was also named Jason, confusingly enough, said, you know, hey, we should bring people on. And he brought Jason Milani on. Jason's been one of our most like reliable designers that we've ever had. And of course, like giving him this like super complicated, very narrative driven stuff, like he just slays at it always. I mean,
Oh yeah. He killed this thing.
Milani's included every week now.
He killed this thing. And I want to point out one thing that happened during the Clinkvision that was one change that I think kind of redefined what this thing looked like. And it was those rabbit's feet.
Yes, I love that.
That shit, to me, that addition added so much depth to this in terms of like the story behind it and how cool it looks. I mean, that's kind of what we talk about with that collaboration. And for those that get a chance to go back and look at those videos, like you can see how that came to life. But absolutely incredible hat, that red under, that two-tone, that olive visor, man, this thing is just crazy. Absolutely crazy.
And he had like 3 designs that were like good enough to be hats.
Oh yeah,
we had one in the water, one in the water, I think a full body, and then the half body. Like
I know. Jason Milani is like so fast and good. Here's like a deep cut story about Jason Milani. So I like he's always asking me like, oh, what are you doing like for you to like, you know, improve your design process, whatever. And we'll talk about it. He'll try something new. He always goes back to the same thing. He designs all of these logos using his finger on a trackpad on like a 2011 like MacBook Pro. Like it was like his daughter's like old school MacBook Pro. And the guy's like limping along. I think he might even have like new MacBook Pro. And he like will not. He likes this old MacBook Pro, this tiny trackpad, like all of it's done, and he's so damn fast. I don't understand it. Like, I mean
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, I mean, eventually the damn thing's gonna broke.
Yeah, there's one thing about that. It's always computers are definitely at some point gonna die.
Yeah.
Right. But the second hat, Fart Squirrels by John of Ink Park. I mean,
yeah,
this one, I have to give my my Views the Vault brother Leon a lot of credit here, because he's the one that suggested, I believe, that the squirrel hold the skunk hold the tail as if it's a baseball bat.
Yes.
And then this thing just, I don't know, man, it just came out really, really nice. You know
what's amazing about this thing? I mean, so first of all, I think the instructions that I gave the embroiderer was to lower the skunk, which they did not do actually. And it's hard. So when I get samples, I just get sort of like photos, right?
Yeah.
So, but they did not lower it, which like you would think would actually sort of like hinder things, but it really doesn't. Like the separation between the like stink swoop and the like guy is still very distinct. But then I'm like calling into question like the spacing, the fine spacing between the sort of swoop and the bottom of the hat. It's maybe some of like the coolest like depth I've ever seen. I mean, it really feels like liquid, like ooze, like Nickelodeon
slime. Yeah,
it really has that effect, right? I mean, it's very.
I mean, this hat looks like it should smell. It doesn't, fortunately.
I love it.
Yeah. Smell not included.
Why don't you just wear it to mow your lawn next time with those blue cleats, and you can tell us what it smells like.
I'm not sweating in this thing. Then it will smell.
This is a pretty ass hat, man. I mean, Came out really well. And you know, Vault with like black, yeah, you can't go wrong
You
with
can't
that.
go
Man.
wrong with
It
that,
just
yeah.
pops, man.
Right. It's so crisp. It's so cool. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna show this one next.
Good. Tell me which one. Oh yeah. Oh
I'm
yeah.
really in.
Nice.
I'm gonna get nice and close so people can kind of see the detail on this because this
Yeah.
thing's pretty crazy.
This one's subtle. I mean, this one's subtle. Like it really, the embroidery really shines. I mean, I love how you're showing it right now, how you're like, you know, shimmering it because it really like comes alive. I mean, this is our most evil of all of our designs, right? This guy is like a killer. And
Yep.
and so I love how it's like emerging from the black. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen, but like this week, as of recording this week, I did a design called loose lip sink ships.
Yep.
And it's all about that, like a subtle shift in shading and telling a story using like low value shifts in color. And I think this built it perfectly too. So cool. I mean, look at the detail, even in the tail. It's like crystal clear. The maple leaf is clear.
Yeah, he's got the tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the maple leaf tattoo is like crystal clear. Nothing's muddied about it.
Yeah, you can see
Great
that.
hat. Hey, yo, and then these like red bottom. I don't know. What are Louis Vuittons? What is the fancy shoe?
Yeah, Louis V's.
Yeah, Louis V's, man. They got something figured out because the other day I was wearing executioners with the red undervisor, like an old design that I collaborated with Lane, and so he was a sort of regular clinker, mastermind guy. And I was like, this is cool. It's cool having like a red bottom visor.
Dude, listen, I think the black with the red bottom in general is just so versatile, man. And it's like,
nice, right?
Yeah, it looks really classy to me. Listen, the next hat I want to show was the sleeper of the bunch, in my opinion.
Okay.
This is the one that I'm going to be honest with you. I liked it, but I was like, I don't know. I told Leon off to the side. I may have said it to Jason too. I don't know about this one. And then when I got it, I was like, wait a second. This one was in contention for my favorite. I'm gonna show my favorite last, but this was in contention for my favorite once I got it in hand, and it was this one.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean,
this thing came out way better than I thought it would, and you know, he killed it, man. He killed it. Now, obviously, in the process, you know, all of us, including you, Casey, were kind of involved in like, oh, let's do this, let's try this, which was awesome. But this thing came out fantastic, man. I mean, look at this. Look at how this thing. It's crazy.
I know. It's so cool. It's so evocative of the scene.
Yeah.
The color choices too, right? I feel like when I saw this hat, because you never totally know unless you have it in hand how all the colors work. I mean, Newer has so many blues and so many greens, and you never, you know, they all have like slightly different shades of everything. You never know how they're gonna all work. This just totally like works to me.
And what we found is from factory to factory, sometimes there's differences, to be honest with you. I found that with some of my fitted hats, you know, that were rerun in different factories. But I think what really set this one off, aside from this powerful logo, is that squatchy and that under visor, man. I mean, it's beautiful. This is a beautiful friggin' hat, man.
Dude, if I could, blue tint under visor, I'm telling you, that's like after red and Kelly green, it might be my favorite. I mean, I like Kelly green as like a traditionalist, but
this thing, I'm with you on the Kelly green.
Dude, this hat here though is a perfect example of how your guys' embroidery style just brings the design to the next level. I mean, it's a great design by itself, but then when you add all that depth and layering and everything in embroidery, it takes it up a notch.
It's like you're painting in 4D. Like, I don't even know how it even asks like a digitizer to do that. It's like 3D on 3D.
I'll tell you what, like I think we've been pretty good so far, but I just approved about 16 samples today.
Yeah.
And they are the best samples I have ever seen. Like I don't know if they hired some new people or just if like all the digitizers they had like have just
or maybe they're not taking any other orders, so that's all they have to do is your stuff.
they have a lot of time on their hands, maybe. I don't know. But
Maybe.
I got some samples today. Every single one of them is like, God dang, these are like bangers. So, I mean,
Yeah.
even newer is like getting on the Clink train, you know what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
I'm gonna have to take some tips from you, because I'll submit something and I'll be like, yo, can you just make this raised? And it'll come back flat. And then I look at some of the stuff that you do and I'm like, yo, how does this, like, I don't even know how to even ask for this, but
We push pretty hard. Actually, I would say I spend, I mean, we have Ephra does the first draft of our stitch instructions, and he does a great job. I would spend an additional 2 to 3 hours personally approving, like going through, redoing, approving, like adding on to what Ephra does. I mean, that's just like a glimpse into our process. So altogether for every logo, I would say we're at least spending an hour just giving instructions. That doesn't count like pushing back and asking for a new sample if we need it. Like, because I realize that like when you guys are trusting us to deliver something awesome. And if you guys open up that box after like 3, 4, I mean, who knows how long we have to wait now to get our hats, and you're not like blown away, if it doesn't exceed the like flat rendering, then I've failed at my job. So that we go hard. We spend a lot, we invest a lot of time to make that right.
So here's my favorite of the bunch, right? And I don't know, man. I just love the way this thing came out.
Yes. This is
So probably, this may be the most unique canvas that you've utilized, right? So far since Clink, Clink 2.0 has emerged.
Agreed.
But we pushed you hard on that pinstripe, right? We pushed you kind of hard on it. And this thing,
tooth and nail.
Yeah, this thing looks great, man.
It really does. Yeah, it really does. I mean, the damn cherries are like microscopic, yet they are so crisp.
Yeah.
How in the hell did that happen?
You got the gold and the coins.
Because that's what we were worried about. Remember, we were worried about the cherries and the detail in that slot machine, right?
Very worried. They nailed that. Dude, it doesn't have just gold in the coins. It's got silver in the machine too. There's 2 metallics, which I can only think of one other design where we did 2 metallics. This, I mean, that is not a common thing.
Nah, this thing came out great. I have a special place in the vault for all of these. I don't know. There's something about this one that's just so different to me.
I totally
just love
agree,
it,
man. Everything about it. Again, that green visor is sort of dreamy, right? Like,
you know what? Casey, I think like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, someone's going to be on a live somewhere, right? Maybe it's a different platform or whatever. And they're going to pull this thing out and be like, look at this thing. I got one of these, and it's going to be like something that kind of connects back to Clink. And this is like what I think is like the epitome of Clink, and what it's about is different and cool, So I don't know, man. I love this thing.
I freaking love it too. I mean, look at the coin. What is that called? The coin, like mouth of the guy. Like it's like indented. Like the coin is popping out of the mouth.
So bad.
I don't even think that's reading on. It's one of those things you got to read it in person. It's so good.
Yeah,
so,
this is such a good hat. But yeah, so
the banding on the on the beanie,
Oh yeah, and it's got the metallic in the beanie too. It's like,
okay, but the metallic in the beanie. But I'll tell you what, as a designer, what gets me excited is like they didn't just embroider like a cross from left to right on the beanie. Where the banding is, they like they did the vertical.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Do you know how many additional like stitch counts that created? Like how many like headaches that made? They could have just done it with like a left to right swipe and knocked it out. But no, they did like multiple like little chiclets, right? That like ran along it. So
it's beautiful, man. Absolutely beautiful. So that kind of puts a bow on Clinkvision, right? Like we got one more hat to land, and I'm going to make sure that, and I'm sure Jason and Leon as well, prominently displayed on our Instagrams and whatnot, and here on YouTube. But these things just came out so good, and it was gratifying. And I think, even though we weren't the ones that created the logos, it felt so awesome being a part of the process. And also being able to share what that process looks like for the hat community.
My favorite part of it was was collaborating and with you guys and with the designers too. And I've always, I feel this way at Brandiose, our design firm, like collaboration is what makes everything better. Like when I'm creating, like when a client says to me, like, make whatever you want, it's the worst thing. Like it is always the worst. Like it'll sell the worst. I'll hate it in 5 years, even if I like was in love with it when I did it. Like I've learned after 22 years in this business that the more I can collaborate, the more sort of like we can butt heads and wrestle and figure out and find the right like middle ground, the better. So it was the Clinkvision is this amazing document of that whole process.
Yeah, and it's forever gonna live on our YouTube, and I'm sure there'll be other iterations in the future that we can probably collaborate on and do together as we kind of flesh out.
We got to do Clinkvision 2.0. I mean, let's do it.
We certainly got to figure that out, because it was fantastic, and I'd love to be a part of it again. I'm sure Leon, Munfu, and Jason would as well. Now I'd love to transition into Casey. You know, what's going on at Clink Room right now and what's to come. So, you know, I'd love to kind of dive in there and allow our viewers to understand more about that.
Okay. So let's talk about where we're at, or like maybe since this last time I've been here.
Yeah.
Excuse the airplane. We're in San Diego. We're near the airport. If anyone knows, we're in Liberty Station. So it's sort of
that's right. Leon's Wi-Fi has stayed intact the entire recording, and he's actually the clearest I've ever seen him. So your airplane interference means very little to me. I'm able to watch Leon go freeze in time for 35 seconds at a time, multiple recordings, but not today.
On 4K today, baby.
You are, man. You're looking good too.
Fortunately, our internet here is good, but I don't know about our audio will be interrupted by airlines passing over. No, so okay, so yeah, where is Clink at, man? You know, we're grinding away week to week still. You know, I've always asked myself, like, and it's a luxurious question to be able to ask yourself this, but like, you know, are you still inspired by what you're doing? And I can say, like, with a resounding yes, that I am. Like, I get excited every Thursday morning to like tease what we're gonna drop, right? And every Monday afternoon when I go check into the vote and to the comments to see where we're at, I'm always like where we're at, what the hell's that? And it never ceases to surprise me. Especially with the vote and the
me neither. Never fails to surprise me.
Isn't it shocking? It's still shocking, and I love that about it. Honestly, I'm like, okay, this is the people have spoken, like, and that's always interesting to me. And even sometimes I'm like, okay, this logo is not where it needs to be in order to hit the shop. Like, what do we need to do to get it there? Like, why do people love this so much? Why did it do so well? Like, all of these questions are still so inspiring and still get me excited week to week. So we're still grinding away. I mean, we have, our bank of like people that really follow closely along know, but 2, 3, 4 of the logos that go up for vote on Monday morning end up in the shop, and then we backfill sort of some other ones coming in. We do that for a few reasons. It's a lot of work to take 6 designs from Monday morning, request the artwork, the final artwork from the designer, get them fully processed, clean up their art, get the stuff ready for the shop, drop it in the shop. It's a lot of work to do 2 logos, frankly, a week, let alone 6. So we need to backfill with that. I also really like the surprise for you guys, right? Thursday morning, like there's a fresh, cool, on-scene virgin logo for you guys to take a look at, and that's like a cool sort of twist, right? Like, so I like that. I also like collaborating behind the scenes with Jason Villani or Jacobo on some weird idea that I've had that I've wanted to see come to life forever. And so we have this, so our like queue, our library of future stuff is enormous, bigger than it's ever been. We're very inspired. Last month was our biggest month in sales ever, hands down. I mean, some of the royalty checks that I wrote for Clink designers were, I'm going to say this. I wrote some checks to some Clink designers. Clink designers get 10% of all the sales. So I wrote some checks last month to some Clink designers that were bigger than my projected sales for the entire month that I planned on when we launched the damn.
Wow.
Like that's how crazy things have gotten. Like, we're in very strange territory.
Well, it's also created. Listen, there is a very loyal following too.
Yeah, you guys, please, yeah. Without the loyal, yeah, you guys are unbelievable. Yeah.
Well, we noticed it too on Clink on our Monday morning crits kind of episode, right? We have like the views have been up a lot, right? But also you have a certain segment of the population that is they're looking for it every Monday morning.
Yeah.
You know, and they're commenting every Monday morning. There's people writing paragraphs upon paragraphs of how they feel about the designs and what they'd like to see. It's created so much dialogue and interaction because I think you and I have talked about this in the past, Casey. People love that engagement and they love storytelling and they love the idea of like these hats and these logos connecting to something that they connect with. So, and you all have you at the Clink Room and all of the folks out there designing have done a great job with that.
Thank you. Yeah, we're having a great time. I just love how creative it all is, and I love our community of designers and how passionate and hard they work. And I couldn't be happier. Yeah.
So that's kind of what's going on now, right? So I think I'm going to tee you up for something that a lot of people are asking about. So, you know, here on Views from the Vault, we've talked a lot about kind of the hat drought of 2021 and kind of how it's impacting things. And, you know, I'm going to be frank. There's a lot of places out there that can't even put in an order. You know, most places can't even put in an order. You know, they got to wait. They got to wait. There's a shutdown in place right now, from what I've heard, in order to allow New Era to catch up, because there's really only one factory working right now to kind of do this. And I've heard crazy numbers out there, and I'm not asking you to verify this stuff. This is what I've heard. I didn't hear this from you. 1.2 million units behind at some point is what I heard. All kinds of crazy stuff, right? So I think the thought in everyone's mind is what does that mean for production times on Clink hats? So I'd love it if you kind of address that, because I know a lot of people are already impatient, right? Because they want these beautiful things in hand. But now, like, I think the transparency around like what these production times could look like would be really great for our viewers to hear. Yeah.
So I just had a meeting about this today. Yeah, New Era is in a tough spot, and I don't envy them. And all of it is out of their control. I mean, COVID has shut down a bunch of factories and ports and fabric sources, all this stuff. And then the demand for New Era has never been higher. It's this very strange, unfortunate confluence. I know how hard that they're working to rectify everything. They've been very communicative with us, and we actually, you know, we do get to have some orders placed, which, you know, we're so grateful for. But yeah, everything is going to be delayed. Everything. I mean, from, you know, the Yankee team store on down, you know, everyone that eats first, Lids, Hat Club, Yankee team store, Fanatics, that everyone that, you know, everyone is feeling it. So
except for MLB, I hope.
MLB is also feeling it. I mean, they're definitely serving them first, but like, you know, I still think that, you know, I think I don't really know. I'm only this is all-
Yeah. Well, I mean, on-field hat. There's no way on-field hats are not going to get produced.
not on-field hats, no.
You know,
That actually is a good one of the stipulations in Major League Baseball's contract with their official on-field provider for the hats is that they have to have a U.S. manufacturing operation.
Right.
And here's the reason why. This is actually an underrated reason why. So New Era could spin up a whole team's worth of hats in a couple days in the US. And the reason why you do that is because there's some dudes that have giant melons, 8.5, 8 3/4, you got dreads, whatever it is. And if you get traded from the Padres to the Dodgers or to the whoever, you need a new hat the next day. And so it is in Major League Baseball's contract that they have to have some means
that makes a lot of sense, actually.
With which to make.
Are you suggesting Vlad Guerrero is about to get traded?
Now, you guys are both sports fanatics and hat fanatics, so the fact that you know that he has a giant head is impressive.
Well, the biggest head we've ever seen is Bruce Bochy, right?
Yeah, 8.5 or whatever.
I mean, he was with the Padres when Jason and I were the swinging friar, and I know that guy's got a big old head. So
yeah, big ass.
But I think if you had dreads, like I don't even know how big those hats get. Like, you know,
a 9 and an 8.
Could get 9, right?
So I'll never know. I can't.
They gotta make that. They gotta make that size. So I don't think anyone's worried about the official on.
No, that's a great nugget of information we didn't know. Thank you.
Right, but
I didn't know. Yeah, I'm surprised you guys didn't know that. Yeah.
Or aren't they possibly impacted though with the global supply chain issues because all of the hats are made with imported fabrics and imported materials.
Well,
so isn't that even an issue?
That's another great insider thing. The fabric selection for all on field is teeny tiny compared to what the globe, like the options
available.
Have, blue tint, for instance. There ain't no blue tint in the US.
Yeah. Well, listen, to be frank, right? Like the bread and butter for New Era is MLB. I mean, that's the reality. So that stuff is never going to be, they're going to do whatever they need to do to make sure those things are available. But yeah, no, listen, so Casey, we talked a lot about what's going on, and we talked a little bit about the delays and why, and there's going to be a lot of delays coming, but let's get to a more positive place, because at some point this is going to be behind us, right? I mean, New Era is going to get this right. We're going to be in a place again where there's going to be some fantastic hats landing in a more timely manner. But let's talk about the future of the Clink Room, because that's what I want to kind of really focus in on, is the positive stuff.
Yeah. Hell yes, man. I mean, I'm as pumped for the future of Clink as anybody. You know, everything from in the next few months, you're going to see a lot more sort of event weeks. Let's do another Clinkvision week. We've got some other sort of event weeks in the making. I think those are really fun. They sort of shake things up. I don't know if people have seen, like, I've been designing more directly too, and contributing.
Yeah, I noticed that.
More of those are going to come in. You know, I'm trying to find ways to. We're getting more submissions than ever. And I'm trying to find ways to like shift the conversation. So one of the ways that I'm trying to do that, and in the past I've always done like leagues, right? And used the idea of leagues, shadow league, taco shop league, whatever, as like a way to like inspire, steer people towards kind of like what we think is working. But now I'm like, okay, well maybe I can push the envelope a little bit on my own, and then if it really works, if it really resonates, and sometimes it doesn't, frankly, honestly, my stuff doesn't do that great, but that's sort of the point of it, actually, is to like push it. So creatively, my hope is that we get to push. I want to continue to push Clink creatively, and what we can do with hats, what is a Clink hat, like all of that. More events, like I said. And then our team behind the scenes, you know, we have a programmer on staff now, and that programmer is we're working on some like big kind of moonshot projects collectively that won't be unveiled for 6 months or more, that are really about building community and inspiring creativity from people that aren't maybe like good, you know, at Adobe Illustrator, good at drawing or whatever. I want to like, one thing that's cool about the Clink is like it's democratized the act of the act of like designing a hat. I think we can go further with that and include everyone in that process. I also really love the collaborative, like my favorite part of Clink, hands down, is like when two Clinkers, like a passionate buyer and a passionate designer, like surprise me with some incredible logo. Like I can't tell you how great those are to me. Like that is like every single one is like, this is the point of Clink. Like the conversation does not have to revolve around, like, we don't have to be the hub of it. You guys can go off and like make your own things. And so if we can encourage you guys and give you a platform with which to collaborate, we hope to be able to do that. There's just a lot of big things we're swinging for, you know, and, you know, I think where I'm at, like sort of personally, is everyone says like, you know, when they find out Clinker was doing so well in my life, you know, everyone, my tax person, my aunt, you know, whoever, it's like, oh, you're gonna sell T-shirts, you're gonna do whatever, and you know, we've done that, and they do okay. But I think what it's made me realize is like that we need to just be the best at what we are, which is producing this kind of thing, and being a play, like a hub for this whole community to collaborate, be creative. And if we can like turn the juice up on what the Clink Room really is, like, you know, fuck T-shirts. Let's think bigger. Like anyone could get a T-shirt made. Anyone could, like, you know, you could go to Fiverr or any of these other like cheap places and get a T-shirt design you want. Like, let's make something special. And,
yeah.
Anyways, that's where we're at.
I love it. Love it, Casey. Absolutely love it. And listen, this time together is always fantastic. You know, I always value it. I know Jason and Leon value this time to kind of get behind, you know, get a little peek behind the curtain, but also I really love your transparency, man. I love the fact that you just kind of share what's going on out there. And that's the beauty of all this, right? Is no one's guessing. They're just like, all right, this is what's happening. You heard it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Yeah. And I love it, man. You know, I'd love to also give Jason and Leon a chance. Is there anything, gentlemen, that you wanted to ask Casey, or anything that was on your mind as we kind of like wrap up this evening?
There was like I wouldn't say a huge controversy, but like I guess a mini controversy around a design that got reduxed. So I don't know, like, how do you kind of balance that? I know you not hate, but I know you don't really prefer to retro old stuff and bring it back, but like kind of like, you know, I guess the counter to that would be someone redoing an old concept, and you know, it kind of got a little ugly a little bit in the comments. You know, I mean, I see both sides of it, because you have a really cool concept that I'm sure a lot of people missed out on and want to see come back, and then and you know, I don't know.
What's cool about what happened last week with the sewer gators, which I think is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is that it's clear that that's like a desired logo. I mean, that's one of those logos that is in person is like unbelievable. And Tom that did that is incredible. You know, one of, one of the hardest parts to hand off to another person on our team has been the selection of our Monday morning crits.
Mhm.
And there is a real art to it. I don't know if I do the best job of it, honestly.
It's not only an art, right? But there's this awareness that has to be there that we just would hope that people would even. Not everyone's going to be omniscient, right? Like, no one's omniscient, right? To know every little nuance of.
Yeah, right. Well, there's controversy is going to happen. Things we stepped on, but yeah. So what I mean by there's an art to it is that if, like, how do you pick the 10 designs that go on Monday? How do I pick them? I mean, this is a question I lose sleep over, because do I pick the 10 designs that will embroider well, that are done well by like really talented designers that I know when I request their Illustrator artwork, it's going to be clean, and like that my team doesn't have to like redo them all, or like is that the best 10 lineup? No. Like, is it just like the coolest concepts that I put in there that are just like I think are going to sell best? And it's just, that also is a no, because you don't know. It's like, it's very complicated. So what I've decided is my litmus test, and this is again why it's so hard to like hand this off. Like, what I've decided is my litmus test for Monday morning crits is like, is it a show? Is it like a conversation starter? Is it like something interesting? Is it like, does it like twist things? Does, but it's got to be a mix too, right? Because I can't just like put a bunch of weird shit on there, because we get a lot of weird shit. So it's got to, I also would hope that there's a few that get enough votes and enough passionate people. Sometimes we don't, but I hope that there's enough in there that are like, I can draft those into the process. So I want it to be like a show. I want it to be fun when you guys do it. So specifically to address sewer gators, that is a classic OG Clink design, like one of the best embroidery jobs I've ever seen, frankly. And when Matt, the guy that did this like tribute to that, to me it was like, I mean, Matt is an incredible designer and so creative. No one would levy the fact that he like needs to copy anybody. I mean, that dude like pumps out like 2 or 3 unique cool concepts.
It was his intent. His intent was in the right place. It was to pay homage to something.
It was right. So I think I saw it, and this is my bad. I saw it as like, I went to like a Jay-Z concert, and I saw him do like a Nas cover, like that's what it felt like to me. It was like, so that's what I hope to out of the conversation.
Yeah, Casey, if I could, I want to add one thing to it, right? And I think, like, listen, we've all seen this before, and I remember talking about this with everybody here at one point. It was about like, when you're doing something about another's culture that you're not necessarily immersed in, and doing the right work to kind of figure out what's appropriate, right? Yeah. So for me, when I look at this, and this is my words, nobody else's, this is my words, so I don't want this to get associated with anybody else here. Yeah. I think the intent was to pay homage, and there was a step missed. And the step that was missed was reaching out to the original artist and say, listen, I have so much respect and love for what you did. I just want you to know I'm going to put something out there that could be a bit controversial, but I want you to know why I'm putting it out there is to pay homage to something that I deeply respect.
I want to do a tribute to what you made.
That's all. That's all. And I think, listen, it's a learning experience, just like anything else, man. People.
So I would say I agree with that. He should have reached out. I would also say that I should have renamed it something different. I should have renamed it. I think I named it like Redo or something, Redux or something. I should have named it.
Yeah, but if you change my name to Tom tomorrow, I'm still an asshole. So, I think that
I should have named it like tribute to XY.
Yeah, I guess.
I should have put a disclaimer that said, "Yo, don't worry, Tom. Like, Like,
That's your opinion, Casey. Mine is a little bit different. I think the learn and the miss for me was on the part of Matt, and just not in a bad way. I think I'm really listen, everyone, this is not some sort of world-ending error. This is just an oversight where a step was missed and the intent was in the right place, and that's it. That's kind of how I look at it, you know.
I mean, here's like, I think this is what got me excited about that idea, and what I was like, I wanted to also inspire with that too, and it flopped. but I, you know, the idea that like Jacobo could do a riff on Jason Villani's logo, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, and like that, maybe we figure out a way for both of them to get credit for it. Everyone could get paid. Maybe, you know, like, you know, one of my main jobs is to protect the designers, like integrity, to protect their work, to make sure everyone gets their credit, gets paid, gets everything. So no one's going to get screwed if no one can like agree to like, oh, I'm into this, then fuck that. But that's like the next level collaboration, right? Where like people are doing like tribute songs to like their favorite song. That would be dope. Like,
yeah, man, it's like no different than Pete Rock doing a remix of a DJ Premier track. I mean,
thank you.
That's kind of like,
thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about.
This is it. And actually, there's some stuff we're in the works that is similar to that, where we're working like that idea of like tributes, remixes, whatever. Like that to me is the point of everything we're doing as a community, and it can all be out of love and respect. And no one's not going to get credit. No one's not going to get paid. Like, you know, I will only let it hit the shop. I will only let it proceed unless everyone is stoked that it's happening, and that's it.
Yeah, I love it. Jason, did you have anything before we wrap up?
Yeah, I just want to touch real quick. You know, your other company is Brandiose, and everybody knows I'm a huge fan of minor league logos. In fact, half of my collection is probably Brandiose designs. But this year, you know, started last year and this year specifically, we've seen a very huge drop off of like MILB theme night style hats, promotional hats, stuff like that. And I just wanted to get your take on whether that's partially due to COVID, or if that's partially due to MLB taking over the merchandising for minor league baseball because of their new arrangement, or if it's something else. Just touch quickly on what you're seeing in that realm. And
it's a great question. I'm not as involved with Brandiose as I used to be. You know, my time is really the Clink Room, frankly. But I am involved, and I do get debriefed regularly. The answer is yes. All of those are the reasons for it.
Okay.
I mean, Brandiose's business is last year was pretty rough, frankly, because so much of what we do is not these big identities and is the smaller stuff, including Copa and food identities and all of that stuff. And also, like, you know, ballpark maps and signage and stuff like that. And that stuff, you just had a whole season where people had no revenue and no fans, and so everything was delayed. It was rough. On top of that, Major League Baseball took over minor league baseball completely, not just merchandising wise. And so even the act of, I'm going to be careful how I say this, but even the act of figuring of saying you're going to do a food night has changed. Like hats being only a tiny percentage of what goes into that. And I'm going to give some credit to Major League Baseball that they maybe don't deserve quite yet, but let's just say that I hope that they're trying to figure out how to make sure to keep that spirit of innovation and sort of minor league baseballness alive and well. I will also say that like the teams themselves are learning how to navigate a bigger corporate structure, and that's been frustrating for a lot of people. it's everything is more complicated. So I've been in minor league baseball for 22 years. Every time a new a corporate overlord comes and takes over a team and says we're gonna do it the way we do it at Pfizer or whatever, DuPont or whatever the big corporate thing, whatever, it lasts for like a year or two, and then they realize, oh no, we didn't buy a baseball team, we bought a circus tent.
Yes.
And they usually like go. So my hope is that everyone that we get back to the sort of circusy craziness of what it used to be, and yeah, and so it's still there. We're still doing a lot of that work. You know what? Brandiose is actually doing like tons of stuff for like Puerto Rican teams, and like we're doing some like cool, fun, weird stuff that's gonna be like super out there and like awesome, but it's not the same yet. And it's still odd, and we're still trying to navigate it. And but I have faith that the industry is strong enough, the identity is strong enough that we're gonna figure it out.
That's awesome. Great question, Jason, and great question, Leon. Both added some depth to the conversation. So Casey, again, I want to thank you for your time tonight. I want to thank Jason and Leon for as always, for being great co-hosts here as we kind of navigate these great topics. We'll certainly have more to come from the Clink Room, more to come from the Views from the Vault and the Clink Room, which will be fantastic as well.
Yes.
So thanks again. And
hey,
Casey, do you have any last
before
words?
we leave, I just want to say how grateful I am to you guys. Everything you guys do for the community is unbelievable. You know, your recap of our Monday mornings is so fun. It's such a fun addition that I couldn't even have dreamt of. And you guys are so important to not just like what we're doing, but to like the whole scene, man. It's so fun that we all get to like be here for the birth of this like passionate like cool thing. It's so
There's
fun.
nothing like getting positive recognition, but getting positive recognition from someone that we all consider a legend is even more important. So
I mean, right back actually. I mean, it's dope. It's just the future too. I mean, don't you guys feel that? I feel like we're on the verge of something like just awesome. It feels so fun. I'm so excited.
I don't think we're on the verge of it. I think we're in the middle of it. And I think it's just going to keep
We're
going.
at the beginning still. Come on, think big.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I think we're in it right now. I just think it's not, that doesn't mean it's ever going to stop. I just think we're in it. I think I don't want you to underestimate the impact that Clink Room's already had and the great things that we're in the midst of right now.
We got big plans, man. We not only do I have plans for Clink 6 months out, I got plans that like, you know, with Hack Club, like that we're like working on this like 2-3 years out. Like we got like we got big stuff. We're like hustling on.
And we'll be here to watch it, my friend, and narrate the story as we go along, man. So again, Casey, thank you so much. And Leon, big fella, you ready to take us away?
Yeah, let us know in the comments, you know, which Clink Room design you're most excited about getting in. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, notifications on. Viewsfromthevault.com for official merchandise. Podcast available on all major streaming platforms. For Pierre, Jason, Leon, and Casey, we out, guys. Stay fitted.
See you, everybody.
Peace.